Prehistoric planet. Welcome, guys, once again to the channel Ranking with Dinosaurs, where we rank, you guessed it, dinosaurs. Today we're going to be talking about a little show that caught us by storm a couple of years ago. Well, I think the first season came out 3 years ago, actually. Oh my god. Time does fly by really fast, but yes. Today we're going to be discussing each episode and ranking them against each other in this tier list. And I believe I'm going to do first season 1. It's going to be this video. And next time I upload a video, it should be the season 2 tier list. So, just so I don't make this video too long, each episode deserves its own time because, this show is something special. And, I want to discuss it fairly each episode. This is going to be the first 5 from the first season. So, without further ado, we're going to be starting with Coasts. So, this is going to be episode 1 of Prehistoric Planet Coasts. Now, right out of the gate, I think this might be one of my favorite episodes. I don't know about you guys, but this episode is borderline perfect. Like, one of the strengths of Prehistoric Planet, I think, is the large portrayal of different animals, not just dinosaurs, like different creatures. And I think the first episode does this magnificently. It's so awesome to see a large variety of different organisms and vastly different like living in different ways. And what I mean by this is that they're shown with different behaviors, not just your common hunting and you're getting killed, basically, like a lot of documentaries fall into this trope of animals just killing other animals. This is such a great breath of fresh air. And starting right at the gate with the first segment of the show, which is the T-Rex swimming with its babies. Like you establish that you have a T-Rex, awesome. Like right at the gate, people are like into it. Oh, cool, a T-Rex. It's going to eat, but it's not just hunting something. It smells a carcass and it goes and inspects it and starts eating the carcass because it's just free food. Why risk getting injured when you get free food, But yeah, awesome depiction, the T-Rex with his babies, awesome. The T-Rex looks amazing already. This is probably the best T-Rex design ever made. Very sad. It's funny too because right at the gate, this is the first episode where a baby dies, and this is going to become a trend of the show. The baby killing. And start the baby counter because, there's going to be a lot of them. But yes, so first segment, awesome. T-Rex, cool as hell. Next segment, we got pterosaurs. Again, no dinosaurs to be seen, just pterosaurs. The fact that they're in a colony is so awesome. Different kinds of pterosaurs living amongst themselves, not, just fighting, tolerating them between each other. Awesome portrayal. And you got Phosphotodraco, Tetradraco as well. And you got the baby Alcyone, which are little pterosaurs on top of a big ass rock in the middle of the ocean. Well, not the middle of the ocean, but close to the coast. And they're trying to fly. Very cool, very awesome. And again, these episodes have a little thing at the end where they talk a little bit about all the science and stuff. So I actually really like that too. We got Turangisaurus, which are elasmosaurs, I believe. Yes. There's a mother trying to have a baby too. They eat gastroliths, which are the little rocks they swallow, so they can better process whatever they're feeding off. And then there's the awesome mosasaur battle, which again it's not just a battle because we gotta have them fight, but the mosasaur is just right there chilling, taking the sun. And I actually really like the little fake out of trying to eat the fish because it's just getting groomed by some little fish and shrimp and other little critters. But really cool. And I like the coloration as well. The mosasaur design is awesome. And with the pterygoid teeth and all, forked tongue, 10 out of 10 design for the mosasaur. But yeah, this is going to be episode 1, Coast. I kind of want to put it in S tier, guys. I don't know. Is it going to be an S tier? I'm going to put an S tier right away. Deserts. Now, we're going to move on. And episode 2, Deserts. Now, there's as you can see, there's a environment theme going on with each episode, and episode 2 features a deserts where, it features deserts. As simple as that. Believe me, it's not going to be simple going forward for some of them. But yes, we start the episode with the... Oh, sorry. My bad. What was that? We start the episode with the Dreadnoughtus fight, and I gotta say, that is one of the most epic fights ever put into Paleo Media. It's so awesome. That OST, the soundtrack that plays when they're fighting, 10 out of 10. Killer soundtrack as well. So awesome. I also have to mention the narration by David Attenborough. Again, he's a 10 out of 10. But no, yeah, the fight, awesome. Move on. We got Velociraptors, which, a little controversial because they are not supposed to be in this time frame. This show claims to be 66 million years ago, and as we all know, or if you're not aware of, Velociraptors were not around and almost 66 million years ago. They were alive a little before that, and although it is said that, not in the show explicitly, but behind the scenes and by the creators, that the Velociraptor is not a Velociraptor, but a Velociraptorine. So, the show still says Velociraptor, so, gotta fix that. But yes, but the Velociraptor model, 10 out of 10 again. Oh my god, this is the best Velociraptor again. You might see a trend here again. The designs in this show, amazing. The CGI, S+. It looks better than movies that are put out today. But yeah, the Velociraptors are like, I think they're trying to hunt like lizards among some sleeping Tarbosaurus. Very daring of them. The Tarbosaurus as well might be my favorite design of the show. That Tarbo design is so cool. Awesome. After this, we got a Mononychus, which is, I gotta say, one of the most recognizable designs on the show. It's adorable, again. I like the different angles to its life or its everyday life. So I would say, like, you show it just hopping around, just getting some termites in an old trunk, and you see it like wandering around the desert, catching some flies, just smiling, going around. I like the nonchalant parts of the show as well. Then we have the watering hole scene, which is in itself a iconic part of the show. Like, it's so cool. It's awesome. And we got the Tarbosaurus going to the watering hole to drink, and all the animals just, respecting its pace. And the Tarbosaurus is just drinking water. It doesn't have to attack anyone, like, out of nowhere. It's awesome. It's like kind of a mirror to today's, like, the African savanna, where lions go to drink at a watering hole too, and the animals are just like, you know what, if you drink water, I'll just leave you alone. You leave me alone. We're all thirsty here. And another one of the segments, which is one of the funniest segments, sorry. The Barbaridactylus scene, where it impersonates females so it can get laid. Yes, you heard me right. So this is a little pterosaur trying to impersonate being a female, known as the fanboy pterosaur. Yes, that's what he was called when the show came out. It shows interesting behavior as well. Pretty awesome. Where, it'll avoid competition with bigger males. So, it sneakily can reproduce with the other females. So, pretty smart if I say so myself. But yes, that's going to be deserts. Oh yeah, there's a hadrosaur migration at the end of the show as well. At the end of the episode, the Caesarnosaur migration. I have to say, do I put it in S tier as well? Oh my god, I think I have to put it in S tier too. Freshwater. Now, we're going to moving on. This is episode 3, Freshwater, where this is where I was saying where the titles of the episodes or the themes of the episodes get a little jumbled here because, freshwater is, it's a pretty broad term. And I think most of the fresh water that comes from this episode is mostly things, like situations taking place close to freshwater. Not necessarily freshwater centric, which, I get. We'll give it a leeway. We'll let it go for the sake of the review, but but I will be taking it into account for the actual tier list. So, start the episode with the trio of velociraptors trying to hunt some baby pterosaurs, unnamed starkets, and again the velociraptor designs S plus 10 out of 10. I like the way they're hunting, not necessarily in a pack hunting way, but more like, opportunistically. There's like a bunch of pterosaurs. Let's just try to gang up on them, on a pterosaur, or whoever gets one just leaves with its prey. And, this showed the actual velociraptor that gets one of the baby pterosaurs does fall off a cliff. And, they explained that, its feathers help it cushion the fall and all that. But, bro, you felt really hard. But, yeah. Moving on, there's a T-Rex flirting scene besides a river. Which, again, they're flirting next to the river. What does that have to do with the freshwater theme? Is the water making them horny? I don't know. It could be. Is the water, I don't know, just helping them, get lubed up? No, just kidding. This is getting out of hand. There's a scene where they start flirting with each other. That's it. That's where it ends. Not a lot of substance in that one. But, T-Rex being calm, not killing everything it sees. Then it comes the best scene of the episode, which is Dinocaris shenanigans. In a lake, I guess. We're just living life leisurely, eating water plants, scratching its back against a tree, pooping on the water. Oh, to be a Dinocaris in the late Cretaceous. But yes, this Dinocaris again, beautiful model. I don't know how likely it is to be almost 100% feather, because that's a lot of feathers and that's a big fella. I don't know if it'll overheat or something. But this is in Mongolia, so that was a pretty warm environment. So, I don't know. I still like it, though. I like its big hump and its big-ass duck face, too. Pretty rad-looking animal. It's a little sad that we don't see it interact with other animals. It could have been pretty cool. And we see a Quetzalcoatlus female in South Africa, which is weird, but I'll let it go because they do say that it might have migrated or flown all the way from North America, which, it's the only way it could be possible, unless they found Quetzalcoatlus type of fossils in South Africa that we don't know of. But, I am willing to let it go that it could have flown over there as a migration tactic, because it flows all the way there to lay its eggs and nest. There's a pretty cool time-lapse shot where, the Quetzalcoatl is going at a faster way, like you're making the camera go fast, and, that's a pretty cool little trick with the camera. But, yes, at the end, I think it starts like a fight with another female, which also wants to lay her eggs, and they start a honking battle. Now, this is where the honking Quetzalcoatlus sound comes from. It is pretty cool, I have to say. And just to wrap up this episode, there's a Mashikasaurus too that gets absolutely eaten by the big boy Beelzebufo, the cool frog. I'm going to talk about the cool frog later, but here it does eat a baby dinosaur, which is, what Beelzebufo has to do in a documentary if it shows up. Eat a baby dinosaur. But yes, that's going to be it for Freshwater. I have to say, I'm going to be harsh, and I'm going to put in C tier. Ice Worlds. Now, this is going to be episode 4, Ice Worlds, where the scenes take place in mostly cold environments. Now, I am willing to give this a 1 away because, it does show something cool, which is, Cretaceous, Arctic environments, necessarily the Arctic, but, very cold environments, which, it's not something you see every day in paleomedia. But yes, I think the first scene is actually the Dromaeosaurus startling the the Montosaurus herd, which, I am willing. I don't know how likely that is. I mean, elephants, they get spooked by mice, but a whole stampede of Montosaurus getting startled, getting scared by 3 dromaeosaurs is a tad bit unrealistic. But I'm willing to let it go. And the Montosaurus, you just flee. I think one of the babies actually drowns, which is very sad. But one gets saved, so we'll let it go for now. And next we got ornithomimids, which awesome, always cool to see ornithomimids portrayed in paleomedia and not being cannon fodder. Again, like hadrosaurs, it's cool to see them thrive and actually doing something. This time, a male trying to build its nest to impress the ladies, and he's not very good, and he has to steal from its other fellow ornithomimids bros, and it leads to some very funny shenanigans. Very awesome too. I like its little red toupee. Then we got Allura Titan in one of the tensest and one of the scenes where I was like, clenching my butt cheeks because, oh god, the baby Allura Titans are so cute, and they were getting swarmed by all these mosquitoes, which is horrible. This must be one of the most horrible ways to go. Just, getting sucked by some mosquitoes. Yes, I said it. It's horrible. It was so tense. I was so scared for those babies, but thankfully they all survived. I think, if I remember correctly, yes. I think most of them survived. So gotta hand it to them. They are real fighters. And again, I like Allura Titus, one of my favorite Lambeosaurine hadrosaurs. After that, we got a Troodontid, which actually shows a pretty cool behavior, which is hunting with fire. Now, apparently this forest is on fire, everything's burning, everybody's running, except the little critters, like little mammalians, mammalians at this time were really tiny, and they're probably, just, like hiding in one of their little spots on the ground and trees and all of that. And the fact that this Troodontid is using fire as a way to flush out the prey, it's so awesome. It's so, again, it mirrors some of behaviors from today's animals, but again, awesome behavior. It's pretty metal. I really like that. And I really like the Troodontid design too. I like his little feathers on its head. And we also have a little Antarctopelta brothers traveling. One gets left behind because, they're too big to fit in a freaking cave. And he just goes on his journey. It's a pretty short segment, but it's pretty calming. Pretty calm because after this segment, it comes the end where we see one of the coolest hunting scenes in the Nanocosaurus hunting the Pachyrhinosaurus herd. Now, the way that these guys do it is really cool. Is where they stalk this herd. They're just far enough so they don't get rammed by one of these guys. But, they're just following them through this insane snowstorm. So they're baiting their time for to get to the right moment so they can strike. And one of the Pachyrhinosaurus, one of the old ones, I think, actually just, gets tired of this shit. He just stays behind, tries to fight one of the Nanocosaurus, and then he gets taken down. It is a pretty awesome hunting scene. I really like it. And Ice Worlds, I have to say, one of my favorites too. I'm going to put it in A tier. Forests. Now, this is the last episode of Season 1. And yes, it takes place in, you guessed it, forests. Very intuitive. But yes, this episode does have one of the coolest scenes, which is the Carnotaurus mating dance. This one became a meme. Rightfully so, is one of the funniest things that ever come out of paleomedia. And I know those producers knew what they were doing. They were cooking. They knew there was going to become a meme. But yeah, it's pretty awesome seeing Carnotaurus doing a little mating dance with its little arms. Beautiful. I love it. It's one of my favorite scenes. I think it's a lot of people's favorite scenes. It's one of their favorite scenes too, so rightfully so. And we actually see some Ostropocydon doing some interesting behavior, which is the active leveling trees. Now, this actually helps the environment, not what we do, which is, level entire forests. But, it's actually something that elephants do too in today's day and age. We do have some Triceratops too, which are traversing, you guessed it, a forest into some cave systems to get to some clay licks, I believe, which is again a borrowed behavior from today's parrots, I believe. And one of the babies actually does get lost in the cave. It does end up with the herd again. It doesn't fall into the hands of the show's maniacal overlords, where they love to kill babies. This one actually survived. And it actually shows one of the coolest, one of the coolest ways you can portray like a cave, like animals in a cave, which is with the night vision, which is, again, just shows the extra effort they put into this show, because that just gives it the extra realism. Because this is supposed to be, us, filming animals in their natural environments. So that one just adds a little bit more of that realism. I have to say, another cool hunting scene is the Kianzusaurus, the Pinocchiosaurus Rex. Not Rex, but the Pinocchiosaurus. This Kianzu is hunting, I believe, some Corythoraptor. And I have to say, these two models, the Kianzusaurus and the Corythoraptors, gotta be one of the most photorealistic dinosaurs I have ever seen in my life. I am watching this show and I'm like, bro, that is real. Like, that is actually real. That is there. That exists in front of me. It is actually crazy how realistic especially these two animals, look. Like, it's insane. But yeah, there's a little lack of blood to my liking. I like it to be a little bit more realistic in that department, but I get it. They got to stick to a rating. We got some baby Therizinosaurs too, trying to get some honey in some trees. Adorable, again. And we actually see Therizinosaurus in the desserts episode, but, just in the background, mostly. There is a forest fire that happens, and we do see a couple of different creatures, like, coming out of the forest fire. Could have been cool if it was the forest fire from the previous episode. I don't know if it's actually tied. But we do see an Odontosaurus eating some charcoal, which is good. And there's an Atrociraptor using fire smoke to fight off pests. Awesome too. Cool behavior. I like it. And at the end of the episode, there's the Salmoxes in Hattig Island, which, these guys are tiny. I don't know if they were this tiny, but in the show they look like miniature versions. I don't know. But, they show them getting picked off by a big-ass Hatzegopteryx, which, again, is one of my favorite prehistoric animals. And in this show, they gotta be one of the best designs, too. This Hatzegopteryx gotta be one of my favorite animals in the show, period. Period. It is such an awesome animal. It's one of my favorite groups of animals, the Astarachids, and my favorite Starachid is Hatzegopteryx. So, I gotta give it to the show to make it as imposing and as regal as ever. And the show ends in a very hopeful finale. I like that it didn't end in just, the asteroid just coming to Earth and killing all the dinosaurs. I appreciate it. So, for that, I am going to put forests in A tier. And that is going to be the end of Season 1 of Prehistoric Planet. This is what I'm going to rank them. Next time, the next video after this one is going to be Season 2. Where I'm going to complete a tier list. And we'll have a good understanding of where, what my feelings are with all of Prehistoric Planet. I love the show. Hope you like it too. Hope you like the tier list again. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite episode. What's your favorite design too? I want to do a design tier list, but there's so many designs. So I don't know. Let me know how would you like me to do that. But this is going to be the tier list, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, helps the video a lot. Subscribe, it helps even more. And I'll see you guys in the next video.